Morning everybody, how are y'all doing today? I'm doing much better personally than I have been the last few days because you guys know, the last 3 videos I've put up have all been on Quantum, and in every single one, I've been so unbelievably pissed off by the end that I've actually had to take time to calm down after I made the videos because I cannot stand people like Quantum. And yeah, I'm sorry if me getting so mad was like annoying to anyone, but it was just how I felt. I'm not gonna be a fake person. I'm gonna express who I truly am and how I feel. Now, I will later this week, not exactly sure when, but at some point I will have another video up on Quantum responding to his most recent video, which he actually posted on his brand new made second channel, which is kind of ironic if you think about it, because in the last video we covered on him, he said he was done with all this and he was done responding to it. And now he has literally made an entire channel dedicated to covering the controversy. So yeah, more hypocrisy from Quantum right there. But today, luckily, it's a nice relaxed topic. It's nothing actually serious. It's just me disagreeing with another PlayStation fanboy. So unlike Quantum, I don't actually have anything against this guy personally. So yeah, I'm not going to say his name or anything, but definitely don't go harass this guy or anything like that. Don't go harass Quantum either for that matter, but especially don't go harass this guy because, I mean, this guy just, he's a Sony fanboy. Like, he's not an actual bad person in real life. He just gives his life to a company. So yeah. But anyway, the video we're going to be looking at is basically this Sony fanboy shilling for PlayStation and saying that it's okay for them to go back on their promise of allowing people to redeem their codes for PSN and PS Now. So don't skip this intro because I actually need to explain this whole thing before we get into the video. The guy in the video explains it as well, but I think I can explain it a little more clearly, and I'm just going to fast forward when he explains it. But basically, the situation is, so Sony is obviously, they have their new subscription service coming up in a couple months now. I think it's like a month and a half or something like that. And they said that basically, if you had let's say you were subscribed to PS Plus or PlayStation Now, but not both at the same time, those subscriptions would convert into the lowest tier of the new PlayStation Plus subscription, which that's fine. Like, that makes total sense. But the problem comes in where they initially promised that, say you had one subscription, like say you had both subscriptions active, one was about to last for 3 months and one was going to last for 6 months. Basically, what would happen is you would get, once the new service comes out, you would get upgraded to the highest tier in the service, which is $18 a month, until the longer lasting of your 2 subscriptions ran out. So basically, people could just buy like a month of PS Now and then like 3 years of PlayStation Plus, and then they would be able to have access to the highest tier PlayStation Plus service for basically 3 years, or however many years they bought PS Plus for. But now the problem is they've realized that they were being a bit too generous, I guess, because God forbid we do something good for the consumer. So now they have disabled the ability for you to redeem any and all PlayStation Plus and PlayStation Now gift cards that you already paid for until the middle of June. So you cannot redeem any of these gift cards even if you've already paid for them. You cannot redeem them until the middle of June. So they're basically ripping you off already, like just making you wait a couple more months before you actually have the privilege to play online. But on top of that, they literally just went completely back on their initial promise to their fans, saying, hey, as long as one of them is active, even if they both aren't active, as long as they were both active and then only one's active, like, you can still get access to the maximum tier subscription. Like, that is 100% Sony's fault for making people expect that, and it's very clear that they just didn't think that through at all, and now they're trying to go back on it, and without warning, they're not allowing people to redeem these gift cards. So now people are really pissed off. But of course, you have people like this guy that we're going to be taking a look at, aka Sony Fanboys, who are damage controlling for this, saying that Sony shouldn't be getting crap for this, when in all actuality, like, this is entirely their fault. If they didn't want this to happen, they should have thought this through in the first place. They made a promise to people saying they could stack their cards and stuff, and they even teach you how to stack cards on their website, but now apparently it's a problem because they realize they're not going to make as much money as they should be. But holy crap, guys, this intro's already been been going for 5 minutes. I'm so sorry, but I just felt like I needed to explain the situation. So yeah, with that context in mind, let's get into the video.
Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thank you, as always, for taking time out of your day to watch the content. I really appreciate it. Today we have a very interesting topic to go over and discuss. It seems as though PlayStation players are discovering that they are no longer able to redeem and stack PlayStation Plus and PlayStation Now subscriptions. This is something that has caused quite a stir because there are seemingly many players who did stack up on these subscription cards, and they were doing so likely to take advantage of a loophole that revealed itself.
So I feel like I should say this dude's video overall, it's not awful. He's definitely made worse videos. Trust me, if you want to see some really bad videos he's made, go look at Griffin Gaming's videos. But yeah, this video, it's not awful. I do actually agree with quite a few things that he says in this video, but it's just the way he words a lot of stuff. Like, this was not a loophole that people found. This was 100% intended by Sony. They literally said that if you want to stack cards and like continue the subscription going, you can do that. They made it so that you could continue the highest tier subscription even after one of the two that you had previously expired for a reason. And he's going to explain that a little bit. Like he says later on in the video, like it's because they're trying to do a nice thing. And I agree with that. And the problem is, a lot of people in his comments I've noticed have been wording it like, oh, people are taking advantage of Sony. Like, no, they're not. Sony 100% intended and allowed for this, but then they kind of just, at the same time, I don't think they really realized like how generous they were being, and now it's suddenly a problem because God forbid we be good to our consumers. Am I right?
And it seems that Sony is ensuring that that's not something players will be able to do, and it's kind of understandable from Sony's perspective when you look into it, because they would be pretty much hurting themselves badly if they were to allow something like this. But
on the topic of Sony hurting themselves by allowing this, I completely disagree. I think that this would honestly help Sony because it would show they're willing to be more pro-consumer. Like, Sony has a very long history of being anti-consumer, and this was one of their opportunities to not be anti-consumer, and they were at first, and then like it's almost like they forgot to be greedy, and then they remembered to be greedy, and once that instinct kicked back in, they realized what they had done, and they spammed the undo button on it.
At the same time, players are getting frustrated because they're being told right now that the ability to redeem these cards is currently disabled, and Sony is apparently going to let us know more information soon. And so as of the time of this recording, I'll let you know Sony has yet to really say anything more significant than that.
Which, in all honesty, just proves how rushed this whole subscription service was. They clearly did not think this through at all, and then they tried to be nice about it, but then they went back and they were like, hey, we don't actually want to be pro-consumer, we don't want to be nice about it, so we're gonna hit the undo button on that real quick. But again, it just proves how rushed this entire service was. Like, with more time, this service probably could have been a lot better thought out. It could have been a lot better of a service overall, because, you know, paying for backwards compatibility, and cloud saves, both of which Microsoft does for free, you know, that's not exactly a great selling point when your competition, like, you can't really market that you're selling something to somebody when the competition's doing it for free. That doesn't seem like a great marketing tool, in my opinion.
It was recently confirmed by Sony that if you are somebody who subscribed to both PlayStation Now and PlayStation Plus currently, you will automatically be rolled into PlayStation Plus Premium, the highest PlayStation Plus tier, when it officially launches. But they're also letting you know that whatever subscription you have, whether it's for PlayStation Now or PlayStation Plus, is set to end later, and not sooner, that's how long you're going to be subscribed as a PlayStation Plus Premium member for. So to give you an example, if you are subscribed to PlayStation Plus right now, and your PlayStation Plus subscription is set to end on January 2023, and you're also subscribed to PlayStation Now, but your PlayStation Now subscription is set to end, say, September 2022, when this service launches, you're automatically going to be rolled into PlayStation Plus Premium, and you will be a PlayStation Plus Premium member until January 2023. So even though your PlayStation Now subscription technically expired on September of 2022, Sony again will allow you to remain a PlayStation Plus Premium member until January 2023, because this is Sony's way of trying to do right by their players who are currently subscribed to both PS Plus and PS Now, and it's good of Sony to do that. But in doing this, there is a pretty significant exploit, a pretty significant loophole, and I'm going to tell you what this loophole is. Essentially, all you need to do is make sure that you are subscribed to PlayStation Now by the time that this new PlayStation Plus Premium service launches, and from that point forward, all you have to do is buy yearly PS Plus membership cards, and then you can remain a PlayStation Plus Premium member for however many years you want at half price. You're only going to be paying $60 a year, not $120 a year. So many people started to buy these PlayStation Plus yearly membership cards. Some people were buying them maybe 2 3 years. Some people were going all in and they're buying 10 years worth of PS Plus cards and just redeeming them over time, stacking them up. So for the next 5 to 10 years, they're going to be a PlayStation Plus Premium member at only half price now.
And yeah, like I said earlier, I just sped that up because that was basically just his explanation of it. But I personally think I did a better job of explaining it. That's just my opinion, though. But yeah, I wasn't about to have you guys sit through that entire explanation twice. I'm not trying to drag this video out forever.
Now, this is unfortunate because obviously Sony is just trying to do something good for their current PS Now and PS Plus subscribers. And, you know that there were going to be people who, when they learned about this loophole, they're going to take extreme advantage of it.
Again, this guy just words things so poorly. And dude, if you're somehow watching this video, like, that's something you definitely need to work on, is just how you word things, because honestly, it really does sound like you're going after people who are doing exactly what Sony was allowing them to do. Like, Sony said, yeah, you guys can stack these cards. They even teach you how to stack the cards. And once one subscription expires, as long as the other one is still active, like however long that one subscription is active, you'll be in the top tier. They said that, they made that decision, they put out the official release saying that was how it was going to work, and it completely blew up in their faces because clearly they just didn't think it through enough. Again, like I said, it was extremely rushed. But I just hate the way he words it. Like, people are taking advantage of this. Like, nobody is taking advantage of anything. Taking advantage of it would imply that this wasn't supposed to happen, and that this is just like a bunch of people trying to do this out of like malice intent, basically, which isn't true. People just like to, you know, get discounts on stuff. Go figure. Who would have guessed? But yeah, you cannot take advantage of something if, you know, people are doing exactly what the company, aka Sony, was allowing them to do. Like, that's not them taking advantage of anything. That's just them doing exactly what Sony said they could do.
I don't think Sony would care if you did that for like 1 or 2 years, but when you're talking about buying 10 years worth of PlayStation Plus cards to essentially make it so you're going to be paying the price of PlayStation Essential, but getting all of the premium benefits for the next decade, yeah, Sony's obviously not going to allow that to happen.
Really? Because that's exactly what they said they were going to allow to happen, and now they just completely went back on it because they're greedy. Also, I'm just saying, there should only be one tier of this. It should be the top tier, and it should only be $10 a month. Or they could do what Xbox does, and they can basically have the PlayStation Plus thing as one optional subscription service for $10 a month, and then they can have this premium one, which, you know, includes like it's trying to be like a sort of Game Pass competitor. They're putting some of their first party games and even some third party games on there, and have that be another separate $10 a month. And then, like what Microsoft's doing with Game Pass Ultimate, which combines the two, they could combine the two and have that go for $15 a month. Because essentially what you're getting in these tiers is tier 1, you're getting the permission, you're getting the ability to play online, you know, like, I just need to say this now, paid online is a complete scam. I can speak to that as someone who played on Xbox for 8 years and has played on PC for like a year and a half now. Paid online is a complete scam. It's literally companies charging you money to access the online portion of a video game you already paid for. And it's not like the companies that are like having these subscription services, it's not like they're paying for the servers. It's the company who made the game that's paying for those servers. So paid online is a complete scam. But also, you're paying for cloud streaming of backwards compatible games, so you're not even running the games natively on the console, but on top of that, you have to pay for backwards compatibility, and you can't even get full backwards compatibility until the top tier of the new subscription service. If you're paying for the mid tier, then you're getting only PS4 and PS5 games, and if you pay for tier 1, you're not getting that whatsoever. So again, not very good, because, you know, Microsoft does backwards compatibility for free, but whatever. Oh yeah, and let's not also forget that the top tier subscription also includes game demos. So they're literally making you pay to play a demo of a game. Isn't the whole point of a demo of a game it's supposed to be free, so it can like give you a little taste of it, so then you can decide if you actually want to buy it or not? Again, seems a little scummy to me. But again, I'm just gonna say this outright. I'm not only gonna call out Sony for doing paid online. I'm not an Xbox fanboy or anything. Obviously, you guys know that if you've watched my videos in the past. But yeah, I'm absolutely gonna call out Microsoft as well. Like, Microsoft needs to stop doing the paid online stuff. In fact, remember, what was it, last year or 2 years ago, when they tried to get people to pay double what they were originally paying for gold, and then they got so much backlash they went back on that decision in less than a day. So yeah, paid online is a complete scam all around, and it needs to honestly just not be a thing.
They're not just going to sit back and say, well, whatever, I guess we're just not going to make the type of money on our new premium service that we thought we would. guess we'll just let it stay the way it is. No, they were going to close this loophole. And this is why I can't really get behind people who are freaking out about it and acting like this is so shocking.
Of course you can't, because you're a fanboy. But again, this was not a loophole, and it is very shocking because Sony literally promised that for as long as one of the subscriptions was active, as long as both of them were active when the new subscription service started, you would get access to the highest tier thing. That is completely on Sony for setting people's expectations too high, and they should have thought it through more and realized that that was going to happen. It is 100% on them that this happened. Like, the fact that you can't understand why people are upset about this is a little concerning, dude.
It is a little bit surprising for sure, where if you in the past couple of days bought a membership card for PlayStation Plus for 3 months or a year or something like that, and you're just discovering that you can't input it, and then you go and you find out that Sony's letting you know it's currently disabled and they're going to have more information. To me, it just seems clear that they have to work out a couple things.
Yeah, which is why I don't know why you're damage controlling for them. Oh, wait, it's because you're a fanboy. But putting that aside, you should not be damage controlling for them. They did not put enough time, thought, and effort into this product before they announced how it was going to work. And then they did, and they sort of realized something that was going to happen as a result of how they set it up. Again, not a loophole. It is exactly how they intended it to happen. And now they're going back on it because they're greedy and they want to make as much money as possible off of a scam service, which is charging you for playing online, cloud saves, and backwards compatibility.
To make it clear what they're going to do for those people who did stack up on these cards and are trying to take advantage of this loophole, I have a feeling that what it's ultimately going to come down to is Sony. I don't know if they're going to reverse it, but it seems like they may have no choice, right? If Sony doesn't want to have a bunch of PlayStation Plus premium members that essentially are getting it for half price.
They absolutely do have a choice. They had the choice before, and that's why we're in the situation we were right now. They made the active, conscious decision. It was a pro-consumer decision, by the way, to say, hey, if you have both subscription services, and then when the new one comes out, even if one of them runs out, you're still going to get access to the highest tier. Yes, that is a very good thing. I applaud them for doing that. But the problem is now they've gone back on it because, again, they didn't think it through enough. Clearly, they did not plan enough for this, and they clearly rushed this out because, you know, they're desperate to get a Game Pass competitor out there. They do not have to do this under any circumstances. Because, again, it's not like they would be losing money if they couldn't charge people for backwards compatibility and paid online. They would not be losing money from that. They just wouldn't be gaining as much extra money as they could. It's not like because people are getting this for half off, they're all of a sudden going to start like going billions of dollars in debt. No, because think about it. Again, they're not paying to run the multiplayer servers of these games that they're charging people online for. I'm pretty sure that making games backwards compatible costs next to nothing in the eyes of Sony. So they are losing little to no money off of this at all, and the only thing that's happening is they're not getting as much extra money as they would be able to out of it.
Because they took advantage of an exploit and a loophole, they may have to reverse what they said they were going to do, and your subscription that ends sooner is the one when you are no longer subscribed to PlayStation Plus.
Honestly, they probably should have just come out and said that originally. It would have been a bit more anti-consumer, yes, than, you know, keeping the subscription going until the longer one ends. But at the same time, it would have avoided this whole controversy and mess in the first place. Or better yet, they could stop being greedy little pieces of crap and actually let people enjoy video games without having to pay $18 a month for everything.
What they'll probably do is bump these members down from the PlayStation Plus Premium tier to the PlayStation Essential tier. Now, I want to make it known that I don't blame anybody for doing this.
So again, a pretty reasonable thing for him to say right here. He doesn't blame anyone who's taking advantage of it. But at the same time, again, it's that wording, taking advantage of it, and that they're taking advantage of this loophole. Like, again, I don't know why you're wording things this way. It just makes you sound really bad. You sound like you're just in full-blown damage control for Sony. No one is exploiting or taking advantage or finding a loophole through anything. Finding a loophole would mean that it wasn't supposed to happen in the first place. This was supposed to happen, and then Sony clearly they forgot to be greedy, and then they remembered to, so now they've undid it, and that's just the end of it. And again, like, I'm going to compare them to Microsoft in this situation. I feel the same way about the people who are doing the $1 for Game Pass exploit, because if you guys didn't know, there's basically an exploit similar to this one where you can basically just get Game Pass for $1 a month or $1 every 3 months, something like that. And Microsoft fully allows it, and they even teach you how to do it on their website. This is the exact same situation that Sony's in. The only difference is Microsoft never backed out of that, because they're not, like, yes, Microsoft is still greedy, don't get me wrong, but they're not as greedy as Sony, clearly, because if they were as greedy as Sony, they would have backed out of that, and we would have been in the exact same situation with them as well.
I mean, the idea that you could get PlayStation Plus Premium for the next 5 to 10 years for half price, yeah, why wouldn't you take advantage of that? And again, this is on Sony. This is Sony's fault, because they either, again, didn't know about this exploit, or they were slow to catch this exploit. If they didn't want this to happen, they could have stopped it before it even happened. You know, this was totally in Sony's control.
And I completely agree with that, and I think it's really good that he's calling out Sony here and basically saying, hey, this is your guys' fault in this entire situation. And he said he doesn't blame people for taking advantage of it. Like, yeah, good. That's a pretty good take in my opinion. Like, yeah, 100% on Sony. But at the same time, earlier on, he said he can't get behind people who are upset about it. So it seems a bit contrarian, but maybe that's just me.
And so I'm not blaming anybody for taking advantage of this. And I'm not even blaming people who are currently feeling a little bit frustrated because they did want to take advantage of this. Who wouldn't want to save that money?
Yeah, so this is where I have a problem. You say that you can't blame people for taking advantage of it, and you say that you can't blame people who are frustrated by this, but earlier in the video, you literally said that you couldn't get behind people being frustrated about it. And we all know the reason you can't get behind people doing it. Of course, it's because you're a PlayStation fanboy. Like, why do you care so much about Sony making a little extra money or not making as much bonus money as they could potentially be making because people are exploiting this, or quote-unquote exploiting it, as you like to say. Again, I don't think this is exploiting personally, but again, that might just be me. Tell me what you think in the comments below. But anyway, unless you yourself work at Sony and this is actually going to affect you and your job, why do you care about this? There's a reason that so many consumers are upset about this. It's because, you know, this is a very anti-consumer thing to do. Promise something and then go back on it because you couldn't take the time to think it through more before you published information on it. Like, what you are doing right now is the definition of fanboying. You're siding with a company doing something anti-consumer because you have so much loyalty to them that you're willing to go against people. Like, I don't care that you can understand why people are doing it. I don't care about that. I care that you know why people are doing it, but you're still siding with Sony anyway.
But at the same time, it's like when you realize just how tremendously this could affect Sony's bottom line, yeah, you had to have known that they were going to close this loophole. You had to have known that they were not going to continue to just let this happen.
Yeah, again, like I said earlier, this is either not affecting their bottom line at all, or it's barely going to affect it. Like I said earlier, by doing this, by allowing people to do this, they would not be losing money. They would just not be making as much bonus money as they possibly could be. Because, you know, once again, they're not paying for the multiplayer servers that they're charging you to get access to. They're not paying, at least as far as I know, at least that much for this backwards compatibility stuff. The only reason they would be paying for this backwards compatibility stuff at all, as far as I know, is because they're cloud streaming it. And honestly, I think the reason they're cloud streaming it, call me a conspiracy theorist, but I think the reason they're cloud streaming their backwards compatible games is because they're trying to justify charging money for backwards compatibility.
And so at this point in time, we're just going to have to sit back and kind of wait to hear from Sony and how they're going to handle this. And I'm hoping that whatever they announce will leave everybody satisfied. Some people are currently thinking that, oh man, I bought like 3 or 4 PS Plus, year membership cards for $60 a pop, and now I just lost all that money because I can't redeem them. Don't worry, Sony's obviously going to let you redeem them.
Yeah, but not until the middle of June, which is one of the many problems with this entire situation is that they screwed up because they want to make more money. So now they're just blocking people's ability to redeem cards they already paid for, which I'm pretty sure, like, I was reading comments on this video and someone said that in the UK, I think that's actually illegal because of like some anti-consumer like protections act or something. I don't know. I like take that with a grain of salt because I have no idea if it's actually true, but apparently this probably won't fly in the UK at all, simply because of the fact that people paid for something that they were expecting to be able to use as soon as they bought it, and they weren't able to use it because Sony made a mistake. So people are quite literally paying with money for Sony's mistake.
There would be some serious problems for Sony if they said that you couldn't redeem them.
Yeah, and that's exactly why there's a problem, because you can't redeem them. I know it's only for a limited time, but it's still a problem because they never gave a warning about this. They literally just dropped that change, and a lot of people never even got word of it until they already bought the cards, and then they went to redeem it, and they realized they couldn't. But anyway, guys, that's basically the end of the video right here. He just does his outro, and that's basically the end of it. Honestly, like I said, not a terrible video. It's just, like, you could very clearly see the fanboyism and the dedication this dude has to this corporation in this video. Like, he's saying it's okay for them to basically screw people out of money because they made a mistake and now other people have to pay the price for it. So yeah, I'm gonna wrap the video up right here. Let me know in the comments, what are your thoughts on this entire situation? Do you think that Sony's right to do this, or do you think that this is extremely anti-consumer of them like I do? Also, I already put a comment up on my last video, but thank you guys so much for the unbelievable amount of support on that video. I have literally doubled my subscriber count in a single day as a result of that video going up, and it's already at over 4,000 views and almost 200 likes. So like, I honestly don't even know what to say. Thank you guys so much. Like, I've said this before, but you guys are my motivation to continue to make YouTube videos. And welcome to everyone who's new. And yeah, get ready for more content like this and the video I will have on Quantum TV coming up in just a couple days. So with that being said, like the video if you liked it, dislike it if you didn't like it, sub if you want to see more, and I will catch you guys next time.